Welcome back, dear friends. What an exciting time in which we live, because the Steampunk penny arcade machine has been reduced to its salient parts, accompanied by a profusion, I hope sufficient profusion, of detailed notes on how to put it back together again. If you've watched the last video, you'll know that I've taken the whole thing to pieces and I've put all the little sections in all these trays, which coincidentally I've started bell crank linkages, labelling. So I couldn't believe how much stuff I had actually created. I suppose it's not that surprising because it's a very complicated mechanism. But I hear you whisper, where have all the other bits gone? Well, follow my finger. Here they all are in the spray booth, ready for spraying, which is most exciting. Now I keep umming and ahhing about which bits. It's a bit much to have everything brass, but brass is such a good paint. So I'm just gonna willy-nilly, let's just start with this, and then perhaps some of the gears I'll spray silver or something, which isn't a nice paint, takes days to dry, and if you just touch it with your finger, you get fingerprints in it anyway. First coat applied. Pleased with the results, although now I see all so much brass. I think what I'm going to do, and I think there shouldn't be a problem, I'm going to spray the linkages silver once the brass is dry. That should be okay. That'll break it all up a little bit as well. It's some time later and I have a workshop full of painted parts. Here's some lovely brass parts. And some more, and there's one that I sprayed brass because I found it makes a very good sort of primer, and then a light coat of the silver over the top. That's great, I'm pleased with that. Oh, and I left I masked all these bits, the black tubes, to give a bit more colour, so it's got black with just the brass supports for it, so that's nice. All the boxes of heaven only knows. I sprayed those two silver just to pick out some nice little bits and bobs. Now I've come to this bit and I've ummed and ahed whether to paint it silver or cast iron, and I just keep coming back to brass. I think that's the best thing to do. Now stupidly, mental note to self, if I make another one of these, or when I do, I'm not going to stick all the numbers on because I can't wait. I'm going to paint the background with little discs that I used to use for the decorative gauges. What an idiot! Of course, I'd forgotten there's one a good paint in the back, but it leaves that where the fixing things and there, and oh, what a pain. Also, it's not very vibrant. So I was just thinking I'll make another whole new one, and I thought, hold on a minute, why not get the laser cutter to cut out some discs, some self-adhesive discs out of something, stick them on, and then spray the front properly. I had some window film left over from some stained glass things I was doing, so that's nice. So it's all gone yellow. Now that could be useful in some machines or something. It's useful to know I can do that. Although now what I'm going to do is just to spray it all properly. I've also stained this, which is nice, the wooden enclosure. Sanded it nicely, and I've got the wood stone paint, so I'm just waiting for it to dry so I can polish it, buff it, and then finally start putting everything together. Oh look, dear friends, you can see the two idiot slots that I cut out months or weeks or whenever ago it was when I put the pulleys in the wrong place. But look at the stain and the shine and the gloriousness. Oh, I just love wood, and I cannot wait. I'm going to do it now, in fact. Start putting bits together. This is such an exciting part of the project. I've been waiting since the start of the project for this part of the project. Oh, can't wait to see what it looks like. I've got the first bit of it done with the lovely spinny pulleys and things, and then noticed once it was together, just the basic bit, that the ball chain wasn't lining up with the ball chain pulley. Was slightly out, so what I've done, taking it all to pieces again, I sanded a little bit more off both of these, as it is a prototype, and then filled the hole with a little bit of wood and some super glue, and then moved it round a fraction, so I'm hoping that's going to line up better. That's better, look, ever so close to the back. And they spin beautifully on those bearings. Oh, joy. That lines up so much better. If I lift the handle, that's lovely. And it's even almost got enough weight without anything on the back to overcome the counterbalance. Look at that. That is so much better than it was. I never realised until I got to this far and sort of pulling this through thinking, oh, that's really stiff, and then seeing how much the ball chain was bending. I'll tell you what, I'm very pleased with these instructions. They're lovely and clear, because I was just putting these on and it shows me where all the washers have to be, the spacers. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? And I do like the brass ball chain against the silver pulley. Oh, what a joy. And this time I'm actually putting some oil where there's no bearings, because I've painted it now, so it doesn't matter if it gets a bit oily. Oh, lovely, stop spinning things. I thought I'd do the ball and coin lifter next. Now, as you'll know if you've watched previous videos, this is, well, look, here it's brothers and sisters or whatever, slowly developing it into one that works, but I still wasn't quite happy with it. Remember, I cut off that bit and ended up fixing an aluminium plate to the front. There's some other things, and I've just realised that the pound coin, which is the thickest, won't go through because the plastic's warped slightly and hasn't been supported to the top, so I'm just gluing a little bit of plastic across, which I don't think is going to get in the way of anything. So I think I'm probably going to redesign it at some point, possibly print it in a different colour filament, I don't know, because it would be nice if this was one colour and then all the little bits, the mechanisms on top, were different colours. But I didn't want to risk spraying this with the silver, because this really doesn't want to have any friction attached to it with all the moving parts. It's the next day and I was about to get on with it, and then I got an order for some beautiful little 20mm high shell lamps. They're absolutely minuscule. They're the smallest ones, and I've just made up the little LED, surface mount LED things to go in them. And the biggest one I do, I think, is this one, which I can't remember how big it is. It's about 2 inches tall, so 50mm, something like that. That was the first one, because I designed that for the Is It Time for Tea machine to illuminate it. And I did that in the most remarkable way. I bought an antique one of these, sprayed it with speckled paint, and then used photogrammetry, which meant I took about 50 or 60 photos of it from all angles, and then this incredibly clever software stitched them all together and produced a 3D model, which I was then able to 3D print and shrink and expand as necessary. So that was the first one. Then inevitably people saw that and thought, oh, have you got one slightly smaller, slightly smaller, slightly smaller, until I've been reduced to this size. I don't think I can get much smaller than that. But it shows you the wonder of photogrammetry and beautiful shell lamps and 3D printing. I thank you. I'll get these finished, and then, well, I've cheated. I'll just put that on. But then I can get on with the rest of this. I was just reassembling this on this lovely shiny side of wood. Put that together. That works nice, as I've got my lovely little plan. There we are. Lovely. That locks out until you lift up that. Excellent. It's quite brassy, but well, obviously you have to have some engravings, an engraving of some sort, saying that it's the coin entry and things. This is typical. For weeks I've had a book on penny arcade machines sitting on the table in the extension, which had a lovely back picture of a coin label. Something, I can't remember what it said, but it was really nice terminology and phrases and things. I was just going to show you that, and it's gone. The book has completely vanished. I like to get an idea and go through it. I have searched the extension, I've searched everywhere. It's just vanished. Would you Adam and Eve it? I'm very pleased with that. It's all gone back together perfectly, and it's lovely and spinny. Which way does that meant to go? It's meant to go like that. So if I twist that up a bit and then let it go, yes. Oh, what a joy. Obviously I can now I know where the centre of that little spool is, I can set that to 0, and I'll put the other hand on in a minute. Oh, will you look at this? Oh, that's a joy. I'm so pleased with it. the mixture of the silver and the brass. And from whatever angle you look at it, it's all interesting. That's lovely. The only thing is, all I can see when I look at this is the reflections off the excess super glue. There. The bit of the engraving laminate that's come off there. There's another bit there. It's always the way, isn't it? Your brain just focuses on the annoyances, and yeah, the top of the 10 there where it didn't quite cut through the laminate because the power wasn't high enough and it left a little ridge. I think I'm going to have to make a new one. That's better. It's just lifted away. They're all cut out perfectly because I slowed down the cutting speed. And here's the other two bits. With the aid of a little bit of bicarbonate of soda, when you mix it with super glue, it fills all the gaps up and sets really quickly and very, very strongly, solidly, durably, whatever it is. While I'm waiting, I can do jobs like replacing that string with a nice little bit of chain to go down to there, get it all fixed together, and then stupidly cut off the bit I've just joined. How ridiculous. And thank you to the person, I'll put their name on screen, who suggested that these pointers, the black, they really don't show up, especially now it's all painted. Now, I've been looking through my collection of window film and I haven't got red, because the stained glass windows that I've made for people have all been sort of either weather scenes or quite subdued, earthy sort of colours. So I've found these ones, which, I don't know, I've been fiddling around with different colours for these pointers, and they really just have to be red. I've tried all the different ones, and also all the machines that I've built. I do like having little red details. So there's the knob there, there's meant to be a little red gem that I forgot to put on the first one. But, you know, with this, there's the red gem in the middle and the spirit level. Little touches which look really nice. So it needs to be red. Now I have got red felt, but I mean furry pointers, nah. I'll have a think whilst I eat my fish fingers and smash. This is definitely jinxed. I managed to get them all on really nicely and they're all going well, and I come to put the 0 on, and look, there's a scratch on it. I thought there was a bit of fluff. I've tried cleaning it, but no. So the sound in the background is yet another 0 being cut out. This is ludicrous, I tell you. Nothing's ever simple, is it? Having got it all back together, nothing worked. Not one single mechanical mechanism. Everything didn't work. So I've gone through it slowly. My main concern was that the escapement stopped working completely. But I had a magic ingredient. Graphite powder. Absolutely brilliant stuff. I used to fiddle and fight about with soft pencils to create it. But this is used by locksmiths, I believe, because it's brilliant for lubricating lock mechanisms. If you put oil in them, then it sort of attracts dirt and things. But this is perfect. And it is perfect for a multitude of mechanicals. So what I did with the aid of my fingertip was just to smear just ever such a little bit on the ends of those bits and the ends of these bits, and it works. It works beautifully. So that was nice. Oh, that made me feel so happy when it started working. And the next problem was this gear, which goes here, a fraction of a millimetre. For some reason now it's binding too tightly on that and stops every time it goes round. So humming and hawing about that. Then I noticed, in fact, that the little spindle that sticks out this hole, it doesn't bind until I put a grub screw in a hole this side. And then today I thought, I know, I've got a cunning plan. Rather than engineering a whole new load of stuff, drill a hole and tap it for a grub screw this side. Then it'll push it away the fractional amount and will stop it binding. These things come in handy in such situations. A whole load of hex drill things with a tap in the end. What I've been doing is carefully so I don't scratch or wreck anything. I've drilled a hole, now I'm just tapping it. So fingers crossed that will work. And hopefully the red film will arrive shortly. Then I can get the hands finished, pointers. And I've even ordered a reel of, I found, I was really pleased to find that eSun, who I get all the PLA filament, 3D filament from, PLA Plus filament, they sell metallic silver. So I've ordered a roll of that, which is really exciting because I think that the ball lifter would look really nice silver. I think it just needs something different here, and I think it's because it's got intrinsic value because it's carrying the ball, and mind you, that's gold anyway. Stupid. Stop trying to be pretentious. And now, of course, now this has moved over, this is now banging into the dial. Oh, so I'm going to take this off and just cut a little semicircle out and remember to make a note on the drawings. What a joy, we have spinny things again at last. And also, because it's all apart, I can now very easily get them both zeroed at the top, which is lovely. Apologies if I have a sheen of sweat over me. Just got back from taking the dog for a walk, and it is an absolutely glorious day. Right, today's jobs then. The film has arrived, the colour film, which looks more pink to me than red. I think, yes. So I can double it up if need be to get the correct red. So that's for the hands. And I have decided that I'm going to redo this bit. Well, not redo all of it. I'm going to raise this because I want that higher, and I don't see there's any reason for not having that higher because the ball would then have a bit more force to roll down and do what it has to at that end. Also, I'm just not happy with this. This was working, but it isn't now. Focus. And the fact is, I want that to be a neutral position, horizontal. So you imagine if that was further round, make it more extreme. More of this delicate force exerted by the ball has got to move this whole thing, and it's closer to the, well, whatever. So I need to move the stop from above, because I don't care about that, because in effect, that's the stop at the bottom, so that doesn't matter. So I'll move that down there. I'll give that a thought, because it's just not, I'm not being able to balance it easily enough now. I didn't take a hammer and chisel to it this time. I just tried to snap the top off. This snapped instead, but that's okay, because there's room at the top. I just sanded the top clear of glue. I'm going to now make a new one of these and just bung it on the top. That'll mean the screw lines up perfectly. I'm also going to replace this pivot with one of the stainless steel rivets. That's what I'm talking about. That's worked really nicely. A simple, elegant solution. It's a bit later and everything's going swimmingly. And I'm so pleased that I've added so many little adjustment things, because now it's all working. I even discovered that this mechanism wasn't lifting these ratchets, these front two, enough, because the weight of these back two, that was lifting those too high. So I've lowered those, twiddled and fiddled about with them. Now it's perfect. There's enough force for that to work properly. There's loads of little things like that. So my next project, as it's all going swimmingly, is to do these the pointers. So I've marked out on this laser engraving laminate, which I seem to have a problem saying today, the area. I'm going to stick two or three layers of the film over it, trying to remove all air bubbles and everything, and then cut them out in one go on the laser cutter. Fingers crossed. Well, if you don't look too closely, that's not too shabby. If you do look closely, however, despite taking so much, so much care over peeling it, the backing off, and not letting any air in, and not letting any dust, and hoovering everything. Yes. Of course, I also have realised whilst doing this, another option would be just to have bought some red spray paint. Talk about not lateral thinking, just linear thinking, I suppose. But we'll get them cut out of that and see what it looks like. I think that'll look really nice against all the other bits. It'll certainly show up and make them stand out. I think I might have mentioned, but the problem now is that having put graphite powder on the pawls for the escapement and the escapement itself, it's changed the whole way it works. It's mechanical whatevers. So I've just taken Ziggy for a walk and she came up with some great ideas. I was all in for adding bearings and designing a brand new escapement, which I have no idea how to do. She said, before you do that, bear in mind that as the graphite wears down and the pawls wear down and smooth themselves against the escapement prongs, its mechanical things are going to change, features or whatever. She suggested adding something here to make this pawl longer, or the turning force or whatever longer, and that's what I did. Thank you very much again to Ziggy. So with the aid of a bit of 2mm acrylic that just fits behind here and is screwed on with the original pivot hole, I can now adjust it. Let's see what happens. Fluff. Is it fluff or have I scratched it? Anyway, let's see what happens now. Brilliant! So just with an extra sort of 15mm here, with a reduced swing of the pendulum because of the graphite, this is now got enough movement to keep... Oh, thank goodness. Oh, I'm so pleased about that, to finally see the lovely red hand pointers going round. What a joy. So we're getting there slowly. It's just further improvements as we go along. Now, as with the last two videos, I was hoping to finish them having got the chimes or bells or whatever working. But what I've discovered is it's fascinating. So I think it's worth... I'm so enjoying finding out and learning about resonant frequencies and all that sort of thing. So I think it's going to have to wait for another video. I think it's worth making one just on that, because it is intriguing. I'm so pleased to have got this far though, and it seems to be working. So that's lovely. Thanks very much for watching. Please keep your ideas coming in, because after the chimes, hopefully, it's time to start working on the actual gameplay itself. Thanks for all the people who've given me so many brilliant ideas. I've recorded all of them. List at the end of this video for those contributing to this video in particular. Hope to see you next time. Thanks very much for watching. Chimes on their way.